Group work can serve a really useful function. It builds on and can help to develop people's confidence, as well as ensuring effective preparatory thinking and planning before any high-stakes questioning or writing. I use collaborative work frequently, but one example of when I have done this is during a Year 11 English Literature revision lesson, when we were exploring a key question related to the text A Christmas Carol. How is Scrooge presented at the beginning of the novel? The pupils were already sitting in mixed attainment groups of 4, and each had a number 1 to 4. I started with a think, pair, share activity, so that pupils had time to individually reflect on the question. I gave them 30 seconds to think, and then 1 minute to write down their own ideas. I then gave them 2 minutes to discuss their ideas with the partner who's sitting next to them. I then gave them a further 4 minutes to share their ideas with the partner sitting opposite them, which would then lead to a group discussion where they'd hopefully come to a consensus for the answer to that question. I then wanted the class to explore how Scrooge is presented throughout the whole text. I asked pupils numbered 1 to focus on stave or chapter 2, pupils numbered 2 to focus on stave 3, pupils numbered 3 to focus on stave 4, and pupils numbered 4 to focus on stave 5. I asked pupils to work independently for 2 minutes to bullet point ideas about the presentation of Scrooge in their stave. After that, I asked the number 1s to move to a designated table at the back of the room, the number 2s to a table in the middle, the number 3s to a table also in the middle, and the number 4s to a table at the front. I always ensure that pupils make this transition quickly and quietly so that it doesn't waste learning time. As pupils have become more familiar with the transition, the routine has become quicker and more efficient. In the new groups, I gave pupils 5 minutes to share ideas, to pass around their bullet points, to add to their lists, and so on. Now, when they're doing this sort of thing, I circulate the room to stretch groups and individual pupils where necessary, but focusing on those who require the most support. When the timer finished, pupils moved back to their original groups, and they have 1 minute each to share their notes with the rest of the group. During this phase, it's quite normal and quite lovely to hear praise, applause, and other positive modes of feedback that the pupils give to each other. After this, I took whole class feedback by asking individuals to share their points, and we discussed these as a class. I find collaboration a great way to scaffold pupils' learning, and I've noticed it works best when tasks are well structured, when pupils are familiar with any routines involved, and when pupils have the prior knowledge required to meaningfully engage with the tasks set.